I think there's a lot of cross sections with veterans or even our parents who are immigrants because I feel like a lot of our older generations, they have to create and build up calluses to protect them from the lifelong wounds and trauma with immigrations, refugees, or wars.
I usually reference that as building up the suit of armor, right? That when that first traumatic thing happens to you, you put on that suit of armor so it never happens to you ever again, and your hands are up. And it's good to be, to have that suit of armor on to sort of be on a high level of awareness, but most of the time not. And that's when it starts affecting when you're in fight or flight mode 24/7, 7 days a week, year after year. That's when it starts having a very big toll on your body. And it starts out as stress and anxiety, but leads to things like cancer.
And I feel like oftentimes what allowed us to feel safe with the suit of armor, metaphorically, is a very same armor that prevents us from seeking help when you need it the most.
Absolutely agree.
So, like, what does healing mean to you, Jonathan? And why is this such an important topic to you?
I think some of the most important healers of these modern times, and especially that are pushing these new movements, aren't really doctors and nurses, clinicians, because they're working every single day. They're dealing with all the people's problems. And oftentimes, you don't get to go and moonlight and just go and try all the new things that are coming out, right? Pretty much a couple years behind from what is the new modern science.
Right.
And so, and this is why I tell people veterans are such a pivotal piece in this new modern mental health movement, is because we went to war, most of us, in this post 9/11 vets from '03 to '09. We got back, and most of us were on 100% disability, or we were using our GI Bill to go back to school. And it was at the time where cannabis was rising up and finally removing that first layer of stigma, where it was just everybody was talking about it in their homes. Coming off the opioid movement, I think it helped a lot of people. But when veterans get back, we sort of had a little bit of time to moonlight and try some of these new modalities, starting with things like yoga and meditation and sound baths, but leading on to equestrian therapy and hanging out with wolves that have been rescued at wolf rescue, or golfing with meditation. All these amazing things that are experiential based, but they're also community based. So you're telling your story, you're talking to other people, you're hearing what worked for other people, have been some of the best routes for healing, especially for veterans.
I think word of mouth stays as the best timeless marketing avenue because word of mouth comes with trust and proximity.
As much as the modern marketing machine starts up with for psychedelics and how it's been for cannabis, it's not the silver bullet for everybody, right? And that's why we encourage people, and we'll tell people to come into the center. This is not for everybody. This is not the silver bullet. This is just a tool and a toolbox of a bunch of tools that are out there. And hopefully when they come into the center, especially, that they're inspired to go and try some of these other things that are in the toolbox that are at their disposal most of the time.
So you're saying there's not a single blue pill that will magically eradicate all your problems and concerns and stresses?
You mean red pill? But not often. It's a cocktail of a bunch of different things that become your lifestyle and your habits on a daily basis. And oftentimes, I think the coolest part is just the journey. You trying these things that you never thought you would ever do. I had a woman from Texas in there the other day, just went through a divorce, and she looked at me and she says, I don't think I'll ever do psychedelics. And I said, why? She was like, oh, just how I was raised and how I grew up and, what my friends think. I said, what if it actually helps you?
Thank you for discovering more with us this week. If you enjoyed watching this video, check out the full-length episode at one of the windows that pops up. And as always, see you again in next week's train of Discover More. Thank you for tuning in.